Marcus Rashford has always been a debated player. From his early days as a Manchester United youth player to becoming one of the highest paid players at the club, he has faced a level of criticism few players go through. Now, with manager Ruben Amorim benching him in the Manchester derby and Rashford hinting at being ready for the next steps in his career, the debate has reached its peak. Is it time for Rashford to move on? When Rashford burst onto the scene in 2016, scoring twice on his senior debut, he seemed like the next big hope for United. A local boy, playing for his childhood club, living the dream many fans share. Fast forward nearly a decade, and Rashford's career has been a mix of highs and lows. Yes, there have been great moments, like the 30-goal season in 2022, but there have also been long periods where he struggled. His 138 goals in 426 appearances are impressive on paper, but they don't tell the whole story. Rashford's form has often been up and down, and his 5-goal season in 2020-21 stands out as a clear example of his struggles. Fans don't just question his performance, they question his effort, and that's where things start to feel personal. One of the reasons Rashford attracts such heavy criticism is his background. As a Manchester-born player and a product of the club's youth system, expectations are massive. Fans expect him to be more than just a player. They want him to represent the club's values. When his performances drop, the backlash isn't just about football, it's about his perceived lack of hard work or passion for the badge. Take last season, for example. Rashford scored only 8 goals in 42 appearances. Fans accused him of being in a comfort zone after signing a huge contract worth £325,000 a week. The optics didn't help, like when he was spotted partying after a crushing derby loss or reported ill after a night out in Belfast. For a player earning that much and carrying the hopes of millions, these moments felt like a letdown. But is this criticism entirely fair? Rashford has often said he feels misunderstood. His well-known activism, like his campaign against child hunger, has made him a hero to many, but it has also angered fans who think it takes away from his football. Yet, off-field distractions are not unique to Rashford. The difference is that his every action, good or bad, is put under a microscope. Even managers have struggled to handle him. Amorim's decision to drop Rashford reportedly came from concerns about his professionalism within the team. While professionalism is key, it's worth asking whether Rashford is being judged more harshly than others. One of Rashford's biggest challenges is his role on the field. Is he a winger, a striker, a playmaker? Over the years, he has been all of these things, and none of them. His habit of cutting inside from the left and shooting has become predictable. Compared to more adaptable players like Bukayo Saka or Phil Foden, Rashford feels limited. This predictability has made him easier to defend against, and his inconsistency has hurt United's attack. In 9 seasons, Rashford has failed to hit double figures in league goals 5 times. For a player expected to lead the attack, that's simply not good enough. At the moment, everyone is talking about him, but when you take a step back from his current situation and uncertain future at Old Trafford, it does feel like he has always been judged differently than most other players. Starting with the reaction to his form on the pitch. Part of that is simply just because of who he is. He is Marcus Rashford, Manchester United youth graduate. He is also one of the club's top earners, and it is perceived that he should be doing a lot better than he is. You hear all about how good he was, say, a couple of years ago, and people ask why he is not the same now. But while there are always players who fall out of form, there doesn't seem to be the same sense of resentment towards them that Rashford gets when his performance levels dip. And of course, the other thing about Rashford is that whenever people talk about how he is playing, there is always a discussion about what he does off the field as well. That is where his treatment really does become unfair. Everyone seems to have made up their mind about his character. But in reality, how many people actually know him? Who is the real Rashford? It seems like his teammates know Rashford, and the people close to him do too. But everyone else, not so much. Instead, their perception is almost from a PR perspective, where the moment someone says something negative about him, it seems very easy to believe. Sometimes it even feels like people really want to believe it. That's when you get this idea along the lines of, he's not playing well because he doesn't care. or he's focused on his lifestyle instead of his football. But other than a handful of well-known incidents that have been spoken about and handled by whoever was United's manager at the time, the rest is just speculation. He is certainly not doing things chronically wrong on anything even vaguely approaching a regular basis, but it is still hinted that his behaviour and character are consistently at fault, and people just take that as fact. When you weigh everything up like that, it's not surprising Rashford says he is misunderstood. The idea he doesn't care makes things worse. Watching him play, it seems like for Marcus Rashford, happiness exists when he is playing football for United and playing well. A lot of the criticism of him has come from United fans, which is fine in itself, but it sometimes seems like they forget they have got more in common with him than any other player in that team. He is from Manchester and supports United. Like them, he is a fan as well. That does not mean endless amounts of support should be given. But there are times when he could clearly do with an arm around his shoulder. Instead, the hostility and abuse toward him are so high at times, it feels extreme. Again, it does not match up with the amount of praise he receives when he is playing well. What makes it worse for him is this idea that he doesn't care. When a player is given that label, some people will always believe it. And it's even worse when they're a homegrown player, because many supporters believe they should feel the same way about the club as them. So, why should Rashford leave now? For starters, a move could restart his career. At 27, he's at a turning point. He's no longer a young player with potential. He's in his prime, and the next few years will define his career. A change of scenery might help him escape the intense pressure at United and find his love for football again. Leaving could also help United. Rashford's current form doesn't justify his wages, and selling him now could free up resources for Amorim to build a more balanced squad. A reported £40 million price tag might seem low for a player of his stature, but it reflects the growing view that his time at Old Trafford is done. Of course, leaving United wouldn't be easy for Rashford. This is the club he joined at 7 years old. It's the club where he made his name. But staying out of loyalty alone might not be the right choice. Sometimes to grow, moving on is necessary. Whether Rashford stays or goes, his future is one of the most interesting stories in football right now. If he leaves, it could be the start of a new chapter, one where he finally fulfills his potential without the weight of Old Trafford's expectations. If he stays, he'll need to prove that he can still be the player United fans believe he once was. What do you think? Should Rashford leave Manchester United? And if so, where should he go? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more football content. Let's see where Rashford's journey takes him.